Now, Humanitarian Organization Gift of the Givers is on the ground at the Rafah border crossing. The project's coordinator in Ramallah in Palestine is Hanin Barghouti, who joins us now live. Hanin, thank you so much for making time for us this afternoon. Maybe just start by painting the picture for us on what the situation is on the ground. I mean, the visuals we have been seeing are devastating. How bad is it?
The situation in Gaza is devastating, as you said. The situation is tragic from humanitarian side and from political side, from all sides. The situation is tragic. People are facing death from all sides. People not only facing death from the bombardment of the Israeli airstrikes and the Israeli attacks, but also from preventing the humanitarian aid from entering Gaza, from starvation and thirst. So as you all know, the Israelis are preventing the humanitarian aid from entering and allowing only a few numbers of trucks to enter. So the people are facing starvation and thirst, and there is no electricity. So the situation, as you saw yesterday and today morning, the Israelis have been targeting hospitals. They have targeted 3 hospitals at a time, and they are forcing the people from the north and from Gaza City to leave their houses, to be displaced to the south, claiming that the south is a safe area for them, but they are also bombing the people that are fleeing their houses. They are bombing the displaced people in the streets, in the safe path, as they call it. They have bombed people after forcing them to leave the Al-Shifa hospital. Al-Shifa hospital used to have over than 30,000 displaced people seeking shelter in it. Yesterday they were forced to leaving thousands of injured people with the medical staff only on the hospital, leaving them without any medical assistance, without any medical supplies. The hospitals are collapsed. All the health sector in Gaza has collapsed. The humanitarian sector has collapsed. Thousands of people are still under the rubble. People are dead under the rubble the people can't get them out. So the situation from all sides is a disaster and is tragic.
Yeah. How involved is Gift of the Givers in assisting with humanitarian aid? What kind of support have you been able to provide?
So our team on the ground has been doing their best despite the obstacles, despite the hard situation they are in, despite all of our team is also displaced from their houses. Despite all of these, they are trying their best to help the civilians and to help the injured people by providing them with hot meals, by providing them with clean water, by providing them with food parcels, whatever available, whatever our partners and our team can find on the stores, can find on Gaza stores. They buy it and they provide it to the people. They are doing their best to provide whatever they can from the necessities of the people, to cover only whatever they can, small parts of the necessities of people. As you know, over than 50% of the people of Gaza have been displaced in this war, and all of them are seeking shelters in random places. So they are in desperate need of everything, of all life necessities. They are in desperate need of clothing, of mattresses, of food, of water. So our team has been doing their best to provide them with whatever they are able to. We are distributing hot meals, as I said. We are distributing clothing. We are distributing mattresses to the displaced people and also to the injured in the hospitals. But of course, with the lack of the supplies, it is really hard for the humanitarian organizations to work, because there is no available supplies. There is no, and the Israelis are not allowing the humanitarian aid that is gathered on Rafah, in Rafah border, to enter. Of course, so the humanitarian organizations are facing obstacles in working, but our team, as I said, are doing their best to help. But of course, all the help and all the international help is needed to contain the damage that it is being done to Gaza. Not only the humanitarian aid, but also the permanent opening of Rafah border, in order to let the humanitarian organizations work and to give aid and to cover the displaced families, to cover the need of these families.
But what does Gaza desperately need more in terms of aid? I mean, have the aid trucks, for instance, that have been coming in, been making a significant difference?
The trucks that have been coming in are not making a significant difference because the numbers of the trucks that are coming in is really small comparing to the actual needs of the people there. In the regular days before the war, Gaza needed more than 100 trucks to enter per day to cover the needs of the people of Gaza. So Gaza was in a humanitarian crisis even before the war. So after the war, the needs have doubled and tripled. So we need like 500 or 1,000 trucks to enter Gaza to cover the needs of the people. So the trucks that are being in cover barely anything. They cover only 2% of the actual needs. And what Gaza needs the most is people are starving. People are on the verge of starvation. There are no food left in Gaza. There is no clean water in Gaza. So people are in need of food supplies and of clean water, and also not to forget the fuel. All the hospitals, half of the hospitals in Gaza have shut down either because of the bombardment and the airstrikes of the Israelis, or because of the lack of fuel. Since there is no electricity, the hospitals are working on generators that needs fuel. So the Israelis are preventing the entrance of fuel, so the hospitals are unable to operate. So one of the top priorities of the needs in Gaza is fuel, and of course the food and water, and also the medical supplies, because most of the hospitals have run out of medical disposables and medical supplies, emergency medicines. So Gaza is in need of all humanitarian help and all the life essentials. Not only one aspect, but all life essentials are needed in Gaza.
So Israel has since agreed to a 4-hour pause in their military operation. My understanding is that that's going to be every single day, and that's to allow for more humanitarian aid to flow in and for civilians to evacuate from of course, from the south. How has that worked so far?
So the people of Gaza are not feeling or are not witnessing these pauses because the bombardment and the airstrikes are happening each minute, and even with the Israelis telling them that there is a pause, you can evacuate from, let's say, the north to the south, or from Gaza City to the south, the people, let's say, believe these Israelis, and they are forced to leave, so they leave their houses or they leave the shelters. They are getting bombed and they are getting attacked. So these pauses are not actually felt on the ground in Gaza. The people of Gaza need a pause for days in order for them to understand what's actually happening, to try to manage what's actually happening, and to try to find a shelter, to try to find some safe place. But as we all know, there is no safe spot in Gaza, so these pauses are not actually making any significant difference on the lives of the civilians, because they are facing death and they are facing airstrikes from all over the place. Either in the south, that they are claiming it's a safe spot, they are being bombed and they are being targeted. So these pauses until now are not making any significant difference on the lives of the people of the Gaza Strip.
So basically the civilians are not really moving from the south. Also, a lot of attention has been on Gaza. What's been happening on the West Bank? Because there have been reports of more violence that side.
Yeah, so since all the attention is, the media attention and all the international attention is on Gaza, the Israeli illegal settlers in the West Bank are taking advantage of this situation, and they are doubling and raising the amounts and the numbers of the attacks they are committing against the Palestinians in the West Bank and in East Jerusalem. The illegal Israeli settlers are attacking the Palestinians in the roads, in their houses, in their cars. Tens of Palestinians have been killed after the 7th of October by the Israeli settlers, illegal Israeli settlers, and over 180 Palestinians were killed by the Israeli army. So the Israeli settlers are attacking the Palestinians, whether in the roads, or they are burning houses of the Palestinians, they are damaging the cars of the Palestinians, and also they are, 80% of the illegal Israeli settlers in the West Bank are armed and willing to kill. So these settlers are taking the advantage of what's happening in Gaza to attack and to double their attacks on the Palestinians in the West Bank. And also not to forget that the Israeli government is giving them the green light to attack the Palestinians in the West Bank. The National Security Minister of the Israeli government has encouraged the illegal Israeli settlers to attack the Palestinians, and also he suggested to distribute 10,000 weapons, 10,000 guns to the Israeli settlers, claiming that they will use it to protect themselves, but the Israeli settlers are using these guns to attack the Palestinians. Most of the villages that are located near to Israeli settlements are being invaded and are being attacked on a daily basis. The number of the Israeli attacks have increased. After the 7th of October, they used to attack 3 times a day. Now the number has reached 7 times a day. They are attacking the Palestinian villages and cities. So what's happening in the West Bank is also tragic, and the Israeli settlers, with the help of the Israeli IDF, as they call it, are taking advantage of what's happening in Gaza to kill and to attack and to destroy the houses and the cars and the people in the West Bank.
Yeah, and how extensive has the ground offensive been? Because the soldiers are now on the ground. I mean, a couple of weeks ago we were talking about airstrikes, but now we talk about soldiers that are actively on the field and circling some of these places they claim Hamas leaders are hiding in.
So yes, the Israelis are now on the ground in Gaza, and the situation is escalating between them and the Hamas fighters in Gaza. They are taking advantage with this claim that there are Hamas fighters in Al-Shifa hospital, or there are Hamas fighters in all or tunnels or whatever they call it in these hospitals. What we are seeing as civilians, that they are taking advantage of this information, saying that, giving them the opportunity to kill more civilians and to attack more houses, to bomb more hospitals. They have attacked the generator, the main generator of Al-Shifa hospital, claiming that there are tunnels of Hamas under Al-Shifa hospital. But of course, the government in Gaza has said that it's a false claim. So the situation for the people that are trapped in Al-Shifa hospital or Al-Nasser hospital is really hard. The people are unable to go out. If they wanted to evacuate, they are unable to evacuate because the Israeli tanks are all over the place. And if they wanted to, even if these civilians wanted to follow the instructions of the Israelis to move from one place to another, they are being shot at with live bullets. So the situation is escalating, and the civilians are facing death, whether from as you said, from the land or from the sky or from the sea. So the situation is escalating to the worst for the civilians.
Hanin, thank you so much for making time. That's Hanin Barghouti, who is with Gift of the Givers.